Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Endless Space 2. Sorry about that. As you might have deduced from that half yawn that I managed to suppress, I'm feeling a little not awesome today. Have you ever had one of those days where you go to sleep and wake up 7 hours later feeling more tired than you were before you went to sleep? I don't know what happened, but I thought, you know what, I'm too tired to do stuff. I gotta work today. So I tried to take a nap. I laid down and tried to just get a little bit more sleep, and I laid there and stared at the ceiling for like an hour, and sleep would not come. So, instead, I went in the other direction. I am now hopped up on what I would describe as a heroic amount of Dr. Pepper, and I am ready to make some good decisions. Let's blow stuff up in space. What the hell are we doing? Okay, we're still fighting on Asulo, because the Riftborn managed to drop an awful lot of troops there before we drove them off. That'll get resolved. I'm not worried about that. Like I think I said yesterday, even if they do manage to pull off a victory against us using their ridiculous ground tactic, it won't matter, because we would immediately retake the system using the manpower in the fleet anyway. How's this fleet doing, by the way? Okay, we're mostly healed up. We do need to get some more medium ships in there. We're getting close to construction on those. How much time do we have left on this thing? 56,000 dust worth of time. I should convert that to a turn value. We'll check in on that next turn and see how close it is. Alright, well, it looks like we didn't have anything left to do this turn. Let's make sure that we hit the move your ships button quickly here so that we can merge these fleets up before those cravers arrive. And am I in guard mode here? Okay, good, I am. I want to make sure that those guys arrive and we get to shoot them down. Because we should be able to handle that smaller fleet. Alright, so let's merge you all up. We don't need to merge the siege ship in, and in fact, I'm going to have the siege ship blow up that civilian vessel that we saw there. How dare you try to ship anything out anywhere? Yes, we are killing civilian transport fleets. Listen, I never said we were the good guys. Also, they're cravers. Who among them is truly a civilian, I ask you? That's a real monstrous way to think. Okay, what is this? Okay, don't auto-pop me reminder messages. So in 5 turns, the Academy is going to ask for their fleet back from the Riftborn, and I hope that they have some feelings about the answer the Riftborn are going to give them. Am I allowed to use real tactics yet? I am. Okay, I think we're going to play Protect System. Just try to reduce the odds that we're going to lose anything. We are putting more manpower per round into the battle than they are, and also our manpower is more effective than theirs is. They are almost out of troops, this guerrilla attack force that has been hounding us for months and months is about to be depleted. Just protect. Empire manpower is getting kind of low because we're building ships constantly, but it's fine. We have a lot of food production going on. We'll be okay. So, Lakim has been successfully hacked. Is this a turn where we are jamming commands? Are we going to be invading in the next 5 turns? Probably not. Oh, they have a tremendous amount of manpower. So then what do we want to do? If it's not that, it probably is that. And then we'll just, we'll continue sending, we'll send another hack there. We'll do that now, and then it'll run out, and we'll run it again. And siege vessels need to keep showing up. And we need to start a fight. So you notice how they didn't attack us here. That's a pretty good indication that they think they would lose the battle, and so they're not going to do it, but they're not allowed to leave because they moved in while we were in guard mode. So let's blow them out of the sky now. Oh, hold on, I gotta... we want to merge these 2 fleets together and then pop the siege ship back out. Because I want the commander in this fleet, obviously. Make sure we get that good XP. Alright, so they got, let's have a look at this in the advanced view. They have a couple of these butchers that would really like to be at medium range. They're a very energy weapon heavy society. They don't really have any other play. So, Influential's not terrible for us. It does mean that middle flotilla is probably going to get blown up pretty badly. How many command points are we looking at here? Actually, this is only 9, isn't it? So they don't actually have access to their 3rd flotilla. The hero ship is not worth any command points. So yeah, you get access to this one at 5 and this one at 10, which means that anything we run in this flotilla is probably pretty safe. So you're on torpedoes right now, so I guess here is fine. But also, we could run the torpedo fire from down here. It's fine. This will be okay. Now, of course, I don't love the shield penetration thing. We do have energy defenses to protect, so maybe we don't want to do it this way. Oh, that's right. These are mind flayers. I was acting like these are commanders. We don't need to have a close flotilla at all. How does Take Trophies treat us? Take Trophies lets us keep a bunch of people at long range, but it does set 2 of the flotillas to their optimal fighting distance, and they're going to do Take Trophies too, is my guess. Especially given that Plasma Distortion does not have any middle flotillas for them. Yeah, let's do Influential instead, then. Anything over here is unlikely to get directly opposed. And it is just going to be a little bit ugly for the poor ships operating at mid. I'm going to go ahead and put a Warden in there to try to absorb some of the fire. Alright, let's do it like this. I'm really hoping that we can take over some of these butchers. We'll see how it works out in practice. Oh, I didn't hit watch. Okay, they just did a retreat. Right, I gotta remember, it is possible for the AI to retreat if they are not, Hisho. Well, I'm pretty sure I can't retrofit the ship unless it's in my space, right? Yeah. So the fleet is at 4 move. We could run to Trieme to chase them. Like, we don't need the warships to stay around Lakim. We can keep the siege ships there. Just have the warships charge around, because obviously the siege vessels have some work to do. Do kind of like the idea of pursuing. I don't like how long it's going to take us to get there. I could break the hero and the 2 positrons off into a separate fleet. Because then this fleet has 6 move and will arrive next turn. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm pretty frustrated with myself for not having settled the engines on these ships correctly. I think we flew past a fleet that is headed to Lakim there, so maybe none of us should be here. Alright, I'm going to make an executive decision here. We're going to bail on Lakim for the moment. We're going to try to catch those guys who fled down here and actually do battle with them. And then we're gonna re-engine the hero ship. We're gonna fix the screw-ups I made over here. Alright, they got some random garbage flying around. Over here we have a commander. Let's get that to Pisces, because we need to defend Pisces. And then Altair can probably start building another commander. I think that's a sensible thing to do. You can see the influence aura of Pisces is starting to make contact with Hidel. It's starting to push back on Wasat. Wasat is pushing through on Kuma. Nalin is definitely falling to Lakim, but we're gonna be able to resolve all this. I'm relatively confident. And we got our relic on Graphius. It looks like I am not necessarily concerned about any enemies hitting Graphius at this point, so why don't you go and have a look around. You've never actually seen the star system that lies at this corner, and then once he's here, he can maybe take an open space move over to where the trouble is. Alright, my guess is that the Riftborn are not going to be willing to go to peace with us because, yeah, you can see our war momentum is somewhat screwed up by the fact that they feel that they have a system blockaded. Once we get rid of their assault force on Osulo, I think they might be a little bit more amenable to peace. Then again, we probably don't need the war with them because we're getting 60 approval from the us or them policy, so we probably don't need to stay in both of these wars to stay happy. If we could refocus everything on the Cravers, I'm confident we could get rid of them relatively quickly. So the problem is that we are so divided up right now. So we're going to hit Trieme and try to go into guard mode and catch that retreating fleet on the way here. Maybe this isn't the direction they retreated in. Hold on a second. You should turn around. You do not want to be there. Yeah, I mean, this guy's just going to retreat. Where's this? Oh, they have a big old fleet waiting for us. I see. Well, I should definitely not engage in combat here. Time to run away. Alright, well, I was sort of hoping he was going to fly back to Graphius, but okay. Here, just continue to protect. I mean, we're killing him. Alright, so everybody's going to be grouped back up soon. Excuse me. It probably is for the best that we're not moving around quite so piecemeal. So I guess you guys head back here. Try to all meet at Lakim and give this another focused go. Here on Kamos, we can colonize Kamos 1, and we should, definitely. I probably don't want to spend dust on that. I think we want to be using our dust to accelerate ships where it makes sense to do so. For right now, I suppose just sit in guard mode. I don't know what we want to do with the scout vessel. Probably what we want to do with the scout vessel is get it to somewhere where its probing can be useful for the war effort. A direct flight is very slow. But a non-direct flight is extremely dangerous. Yeah, I'm just going to have it make a direct flight to Nakalim. Maybe by the time it arrives, that whole situation will be resolved. It's possible. I think we're good for the turn. I mean, we're still building up infrastructure in a couple of places down here. And also lots and lots of warships. We are unlikely to get a good influence press going against green. We don't necessarily need to carry out a full war against the Cravers, but I do really want Lakim. Okay, let's blow up that vessel. And you know what? I'm going to have these guys come back to here instead of the other thing I was saying. Let's actually group up. Alright, so we're going to separate out the positrons. I want... Well, hold on. Let's combine everything real quick. So we have a bunch of siege vessels. We're going to pull the positrons out because they are slow. We're going to re-equip the hero so that he is not slow. And then we're going to fiddle with his design a little bit. Actually, let's go for an H-field accelerator here. +1 movement for the entire fleet. Because right now, the ships in the fleet are only moving at 6 anyway. That second engine doesn't actually help him very much. That'll make things a little bit better, though. And then these weapons are definitely wrong, because these are, for some reason, the first tier version of those modules. So what do we want to do with him? I know it might feel a little silly against the Cravers, knowing that they have all the energy weapons themselves, that we don't necessarily want to be functioning in their optimal ranges. But I'm wondering about putting energy weapons on him, just because a lot of our tactics encourage people to switch to projectile defenses. So just keeping it mixed up is maybe a good idea. And also, having one ship in the fleet distributing a 20% accuracy penalty seems like an okay idea. So like go really deep on that and then split the defenses. I like that design. It's 1140 dust and 13 Hyperium, not a problem. Oh, and then should we give him... Sorry, this isn't where I do that. Should we give him some relics, maybe? So, health and damage, unfortunately, pretty expensive. I have to put down 4 relics to get into deep design, and then another 4 on top of that to get secrets. Let's hold off on that for the moment. Alright, so this thing happens. This is the last battle where they will be able to apply a full manpower group. Now they are down to 450, so we're just about done with that. We have enough cravers in our systems, apparently, that we're getting craver quests now. One of the bishops overseeing the craver swarm on Nakalim has just passed away. A frequent enough occurrence, except for one thing. She was the last one. Bishops are critical to keeping a craver population under control. You must quickly grow your craver population to induce the mutation of a new bishop. Must I, though? Is that a thing that I must do? I don't think so. I don't think I care about that at all, actually. So we're partially depleting these planets. It's going to take a while for them to get run out, since they only have 1 craver each. We should try to make sure that as many of the population spaces as possible on these planets are these guys for the bonus food. At the very least, we need to be pumping out extra food into the manpower pool. But this system has really come along. Here's a question. Do we want to build... So we have a one-off great big culture building that we can now build, thanks to our research. Do I want to build this here? Probably not, right? What about Lacerda? Is Lacerda a place that we could actually... No, despite having 4 systems, it actually has pretty low population potential. Trying to figure out if there's a way we could use influence bubbles offensively against green, but it doesn't really look like it. I mean, if we did it on Nakalim is actually putting out a fair amount of influence, and we were planning on probably templing these things later. So I was thinking we were going to take Lakim and try to use Lakim to put out influence pressure, but maybe we'd be better off using Nakalim to try to push south. I mean, the systems are like really far away, though. It is probably not worth doing that, I think. So, instead... Well, we could certainly build more science, but probably the smart play is let's get some more... I don't have enough manpower to build all those boarding party modules. Yeah, instead let's get some of this other stuff going. We could build some more siege ships. I think that's what I'm going to do. Put a couple more siege ships in the queue. I want a force that's able to burn down the huge defensive populations of these systems as quickly as possible. Alright, so you guys are, for the moment, waiting for the regroup. You are in some danger. I'm gonna, I think, send him up here. Yeah, even though he's injured, just like we need more ships. And we have incoming. So let's have a look at these. Okay, their fleets are large, but they're very slow. Little bit under 12,000 health, 1,900 attack, 960 defense, compares somewhat favorably with our commanders. I mean, they certainly hit harder than we do. We have a lot more general toughness. What kind of weapon systems are they locked on? Projectile weapons about evenly split between bullets and missiles. While these things have no visible weapon systems, which probably means that they're doing a boarding party thing. That would be my guess. There's no way they just have no weapons. I don't know that I am terribly worried about that. Because our large ships are on bullet weapons, we have just sort of natural flak defenses that'll shoot down a lot of the enemy boarding parties. But we might want to move this fleet back. So you are actually going to meet them here. The thing is, I just really don't want to get, I don't want to get blown out of the sky before we're able to sort of rebuild and reunite, and we're so close to having these ships finished. Also, I'm not remembering to pay attention to this, but it's coming down pretty quickly. Yeah, okay. End turn. I think we're good with end turn. So there's no reason for me to think that the Cravers couldn't break through on Pisces. Let's go ahead and resolve this. I'm hoping to break their assault here before the ships show up and add more manpower. We didn't quite get through all of them. Okay, yeah, finish the job. Is time frozen in the galaxy? My ships all have no movement. Their ships haven't moved. For a second there, I thought, I was like, last turn I was like, wait a minute, none of my stuff can move? And I internally chalked it up to me being too tired to remember what turn it was. I was like, oh, I must have not actually played the rest of this turn. Okay, so we wiped the rest of them out, but something has occurred. All of the ships in the galaxy are now stationary. No progress is being made on any buildings. We're gonna load a save. Hold on. We'll load the turn 89 autosave. How about that? Something's goofy here. What was the point? Turn 91. Okay. Just checking when things broke last game to see if there's maybe a connection. And I wonder if maybe there is, because we sure are in approximately that part of the game. Although, the last game save, like I said, like turn 82's save also wouldn't load. I wonder if we are experiencing an issue. I'm actually pretty curious whether or not this is going to even load. Well, it says game launched, and then it says game launched again, but neither one of those are correct just yet. I swear to you, it says. The game is launched. It's launched and it's ready. And yet. Okay, no, we're cool. Everything's fine. Obviously. How could it not be? Okay, so we fight the dudes on Asulo. There's still 450 of them. We drop them down to 105. There's one turn left on this build here. These guys have 0 of 7 points of movement. And then I hit end turn and things change. I don't want to do anything with you guys. They should have all 7 of their movement points, right? Oh, and these dudes are actually, they're headed directly toward Nakalim, so we want to square up here. Let's put you in defense mode even. Alright, and then we're going to hit end turn, and stuff is going to move again, right? Right, everything's going to be fine. Okay, ships are completing. That was weird. I didn't imagine that, right? That was a real problem that we actually had there? I don't know, whatever. Probably it was real. Maybe it was real. Alright, kill these guys off. That event ends. Or rather, the chance of the consequences from that event ends. Merge up. We would want to not move in until we get one more medium ship in here. Asulo did not have time to actually refill its defense pool, but we fed a lot of dudes into that battle. We'll be fine. We'll be okay. What do we want to build on Hamal? Still really want to be able to use that lava world. I guess we finished this tech, so we have predictive logistics now. That's a thing we're going to build in a bunch of places. And we should have mining of adamantium. What's our adamantium income? 3 per turn? I mean, it's not nothing. That's good enough that we'll be able to at least build some carrier chassis. Oh, over here, it looks like some kind of... For some reason, a cargo ship moving 4 units of Cravers came through Nakalim, so let's just get rid of that. Listen, if the Cravers thought they could just crawl around on the outside of the ship and eat me, they would. I'm trying to convince myself not to feel bad about blowing up their vessels. Sorry, you guys are... Hold on, I don't want you in this fleet. I want to combine these two. There we go, that's what we wanted. So we do only have this many actual combat ships, which is a little concerning, given that they have 5 butchers coming in, and also they've constructed a behemoth on Lakim. Yeah, Nakalim might be in a little bit more trouble than we thought. Okay, we do have all of the defensive buildings up. I'm gonna cancel some of this and maybe work on some of this. 21k. Oh right, every time you load a save, it shows like there's something to do in your government menu, even if there actually isn't. So I'm wondering if we can maybe get out of... We just need to get out of one of the 2 wars. I don't even actually care which one. I want to be fighting one person. That's maybe something we could manage. Give me 8,300 dust and all of your strategic resources. Well, I don't know about all that. How about 2,000 dust? Man, I want to be out of the Second War. Do I want to be out of the Second War all that bad? Ooh. Actually, they're willing to take quite a reduction of terms. Hold on a second here. We're gonna mess with all of these numbers a little bit. Thing is, I can't just give you all of my strategics. I need them to build warships. Oh, they feel very strongly about the titanium, though. Well, we need Hyperium way more than we need titanium. I will take this deal. I'm fine with that. Let's see if they actually... Sometimes they don't actually accept deals when they offer you a thing and then you alter it and the bar is still blue. They don't always actually go for it. Okay. You and I are going to have words. Eventually. But we have other problems at the moment. Kind of curious if these guys would also... Okay, the red minus is a pretty bad sign. Alright, yeah, we're going to have to actually fight them. Well, that's really cool for us, though, because it means that we can redirect this fleet. 7 turns of flying. I mean, it's not ideal, but we don't have a lot of options here. Maybe I should have the ships from Kuma and this one head down through the collapsing star to Nakalim, the way this ship did. Maybe. I don't know. I guess it's going to be too late. By the time they could get there, it's not going to matter too much anymore. Well, alright, let's see what happens. I really wish that we had the dust necessary to buy out. Could we buy out? We could buy out a squire. It's going to make it very nearly impossible to buy out the Mind Flayer, but also we have so little... we have so few resources that we could sell that probably... The Mind Flayer is unrealistic anyway. Like, we're just not going to be able to generate anywhere near that amount of money. Alright, we need another combat vessel here. We're going to have to pull it up out of the hangar quickly. Alright, let's see what happens with these cravers. I'm definitely a lot more confident now that we're only at war with one person. The very moment I'm allowed to select the hangar, we'll try to get this thing up. Once it's up in the air, that'll be good enough to make sure it participates in combat, but it'll be even better if we can merge it in here so it benefits from our hero's fleet bonus. And I guess for that same reason, we should really merge these two together. Alright. We're not in any big hurry to attack them. For right now, I'm wondering if maybe it's Embed Sleeper, because I really don't think it's likely that we'll attack them in the next 5 turns. Just continue getting resources, I suppose.
The Academy has
Okay, the Academy wants dust, which we might be able to do. This is going to be kind of close. We'll come back to it. That's an end of the turn kind of thing. So we have ships moving all over the place. Oh hey, now our behemoth is displaying correctly. That's cool. The Riftborn and the Sheridan have become allied. Alright, that's fine. I don't think that affects me at all. Let's get you up here and merge those together. Yeah, we gotta put together some kind of actual force here. We gotta put a little pressure on the northern front. Otherwise, they're just gonna keep harassing me down south with the full force of their army on my weakest point. All right, you need to get out of here, and maybe we just take Hidel through force. I was really hoping to be able to sell Hidel to the Academy. Let's just plan to run through. I don't want to have to engage it. This is only 40 industry here. I mean, it's still pretty significant, though. Yeah, we gotta make time for infrastructure improvements. Boy, I sure am glad that we got out of this war. That's 26 ships there. It's not impossible for them to redeclare on us, but it would be pretty expensive now. Breaking a truce for a war declaration is quite expensive. My hope here is that they will just figure they have other things to do. Although if they're allied with one of their neighbors, I don't know. It may not be the case that they actually are busy. Seems like they don't need to fight. Maybe we should just build the culture center on Pisces and let Pisces try to claim as much of their empire as possible. It won't be useful against anybody else that way, though. And we're making fine progress. What is Pisces putting out? 456 influence per turn. Yeah, I mean we're making good progress on Shaddai. Actually, we pushed way through ESO.
We can be trusted to act as you think we will. You cannot.
I don't think you should tell me that. That's not good for your long-term survival. Sorry, are they exerting pressure on me? Wait, what's happening here? 4.5 from border friction. Oh, right. Whatever this system is, it's putting out more influence pressure than Graphius is. Well, that's a thing we'll have to worry about eventually. For now, though, Graphius just needs time to build up. So at 4 turns... it's pretty unlikely that we will be able to rush even a single turn off of this behemoth, unfortunately. Alright, I think it's time for this battle. And we've done everything else that is important this turn. So let's figure out how we want to do this. The Butcher 3 is the same Butcher design that we've seen many times before, with the mid-range projectile weapons. Yep, and these are all those ships. So my inclination is to go influential. Yeah, I think pretty much like this. It does mean that we're probably going to lose all of the middle flotilla ships. It was not totally ideal, but we can put our hero ship there too. And then here's hoping the boarding pods get some stuff done. We don't actually need the influence, obviously, but I really, really don't want to have too many of our flotillas sitting at medium range. They still chose to squeeze into 2, despite the fact that they have enough command points for 3. That's not actually that big of an error for them this time, because I believe that the extra flotilla bonus only affects ship damage, and we're not really trying to do that much ship damage here. I don't think it applies to the damage that your boarding soldiers deal. All right, I'm really curious to see whether we're gonna pull this off. I have pretty good feelings about this. That flotilla is in a position that's going to be really hard for them to attack. It'd be really cool if we could see some boarding pods landing. Okay, that one's starting to see a decrease in its manpower bar. Unfortunately, they're gonna destroy those medium ships like really soon. This looks good though. You can see the boarding pods slowly moving through space. It looks like almost nothing has landed over here for some reason. They shouldn't be shooting them down. Oh, there goes the audio. I was kind of hoping that it would take long enough for them to destroy the middle flotilla that these ships would be out of their firing arc before they had time to shoot at us. It's like we're gonna get that one butcher, and that's it, huh? Wow, what an outcome. That's really bad for me. Yeah, it's weird. Like, over here, there were 2 of those ships, and it seems like they didn't fire almost any boarding pods. In the amount of time it took for... that one ship to get about half of the crew off of 2 different enemy ships, my 2 ships together produced almost no damage, despite the fact that none of the boarding pods were getting shot down. I don't know, that doesn't make a lot of sense. What is it? Why do I have a red glowy here? Who do I have a new... Nobody has an indication on them. Oh, I haven't... Because it was trying to remind me, hey, the Academy. Hey, remember the Academy? You can do stuff with them. I'm not sure what a good amount of money to give to the Academy is. Let's give them 1,000 dust. That's not too hard to make up.
The Academy will remember.
Because I actually would like to be the Spear of Iziander. That sounds great. So we'll give them 1,000 dust just so we're sort of... our hand is in, and then let's see what they do with it. Alright, our hero was injured. I mean, they're going to have a hell of a time actually taking Nakalim out. And by a hell of a time, I mean I don't think they can do it. Nakalim has a ton of population. It doesn't actually have that huge of a manpower garrison, but it's something. I'm trying to figure out how I think we're going to hold most effectively here. So we probably want to... We want to either put the siege ships down in the hangar on Nakalim, or we want to move them out. Like maybe running them to 3C75. Just thinking they could actually be useful in our counterattack, right? Like Wasat is pretty unlikely to get influence barriered. That's probably also true of Shaddai. So we could... With the siege vessels and the big fleet that's forming on Pisces, we could pressure Wasat. And then, hopefully that can be enough of a distraction. So yeah, let's have you guys just direct straight through space. Right now, this butcher sitting here is the only thing that's keeping them from getting siege damage on our system, so I'm going to leave it there. It's actually, like, it's a pretty good ship. Relative to our ships, this is pretty solid. Maybe we do want to run away with this? Oh, you know what? It doesn't have any movement anyway. We couldn't. We will not be able to retreat from battle, because all of the surrounding nodes are owned by our enemy. So, we could give this a movement order now, and just mash the use your orders button, and hope that we get away before they initiate combat on the next turn. I guess I'll do that. It's worth trying to preserve this thing. Oh, sorry. Don't use those star lanes. That's a bad idea. Four turns on that behemoth. I'm kind of curious here. What is up with you guys? Like, what's your relationship with everybody else? You're still at war with the Hisho. You don't really care much about them. I'm just wondering if we can maybe turn our thing with Sigma into something a little bit more positive.
Some things in this cosmos.
He's wary of us, which is a little silly considering that he declared war in the first place. Yeah, we probably will not be able to make any diplomatic moves really in that direction for a little while until the wariness wears off and the truce is coming close to an end. So I guess for right now... we did still gain some resources. You know, I removed some number of combat points worth of ships. What's up with that hero? How badly injured is he? He is 5,300 dust injured. Well, that's not ideal. So every turn that heal up, the instant heal cost will come down, but I think we're probably just not going to be able to pull him back from the brink for a while. I mean, like, I really would like to be focusing my dust on trying to win a position at the Academy, right? Oh, we do have a hacking operation left on the side. Well, for the moment, it looks like Lakim is going to remain unconquered. So let's just continue installing No hacking operation passes through this node. I can see the target. Did it not actually... Nakalim to Lakeen. Okay, well, I guess we'll wait a little bit and apply it later. Yeah, I definitely should be able to install an accelerator there. We've certainly done this way a number of times already. Without the accelerator, I'm not sure that the operation will finish before their trace does, to be perfectly honest with you. Well, whatever. Alright, so we're gonna mash on this button. They're going to be able to begin sieging Nakalim this turn, whether we run the Butcher away or not, because obviously they'll just destroy it if it doesn't run. Come on. One of my favorite little changes that the Endless Legend community patch made to Endless Legend was, in Endless Legend that button is clickable a lot earlier, and once you've clicked it, you don't have to worry about it anymore. It will just execute the command the instant it can execute the command. There's so many good quality of life things in that mod. Alright, our Zir Masala population booster ended. We could rerun it. I think we should. Even though we're not actually gaining any population because there's no Zir Masala on systems that have slots left, the extra industry actually matters quite a bit. Also, that other thing is a problem that we could fix. So, like, what's population on Jane? Yeah, there's room. On Graphius, not so much, but there will be. A lot of the systems that we inhabited, or that we inherited from the Hisho are just kind of crummy. They had built out in a crappy way. I guess the science on the Cold Worlds is actually good for them. But even so. Alright, that is just a wonderful skill. What if your fleet was good at everything? So down here on Tikal, predictive logistics is a little expensive for the value that we get out of it here. I don't really know what else to do. We have a small population. They're not terribly happy. System is technically besieged because that Academy colonization ship is there. Maybe this would be a good time... Oh, you know what? Interplanetary Transport Network's actually quite good here. So a fair amount of population gets to benefit from that. It's 24 industry for very little cost. And on Graphius, like, do we want to do 40 extra industry for 1100 industry? Probably, and I mean, it's only going to get better as we continue to develop out. And then what do we want to do with you? It's a long, long way over to Pisces from here. I guess we'll prepare to move to one of these two nodes. And we might be able to build up enough ships in Nalin's hangar to pose a threat to this fleet. Just launch them up and engage in another battle for the safety of Nalin. They are sieging us down at 30 points a turn, so we don't have forever, but it's a little while. It'll be a little while. I don't really care about that scout ship. Alright, let's try to keep an eye on what's going on with the Academy. So I put in 1,000, and that is nearly the high bid right now. Let's just remember, like, we don't get to know people's exact amounts, but we can, from the fact that our 1,000 is 14%, we can deduce we're just going to keep an eye on this. We're not going to contribute anything else until close to the end, because obviously we have other uses for that stuff, but now we will at least have a sense of the magnitude of everybody else's contributions, so we can make a big move at the end. And the ships are coming along. Hopefully everything is going to be okay. I mean, when we took Nalin over, I knew that it was not going to be super easy to hold on to it. But I think it was still a good move. Okay, so the trace has begun. What are we looking at in terms of time? 4 turns to complete the hack. The accelerator would take a turn off of that, but never mind. We don't know how long the trace is going to take, but it's not going to be good.
Assume this is another dishonorable.
Okay, he still is talking like he wants to be friends with me, which I honestly, at this point, would be okay with. Oh, except that being friends with him would probably put us even more in trouble with green, and I definitely value green as an ally way more than I value pink as an ally. Did they just leave? Or did they decide that my defenses were impregnable? Interesting. They're headed for our shipyards, although once they arrive, who knows what they'll actually bother to do. We did build tractable armaments on all of these systems, so yeah, we have basic defense in place. I'm not too worried, and the behemoth is about to finish. Yeah, I think we're okay. Again, I don't even think that it's necessarily safe to assume that they will do anything. I'm also going to maybe turn these ships around and go back to Nakalim. I know this feels a little bit silly, but like if they're going to let me remass on Nakalim, I will absolutely do it. I don't know what the hell their plan is. So for the moment, I'm going to ignore Hidel. They only have 6 population on a single planet. They're not going to be able to build ships there very quickly. I don't think we're in any great danger of like an assault fleet suddenly showing up. The surprising new fad among current-gen Epistis, garbage collecting. Thanks to a recent surge in your Empire's population, these angular robots are now going from neighborhood to neighborhood, knocking on doors and asking for garbage. Curious behavior, to be sure, but sociologists hypothesize that it is actually an expression of an ancient evolutionary urge. The Epistis were designed to be a race of ecological caretakers, after all. Anyway, it's cute, but it's disrupting the jobs of people who actually do this for a living. So reprogram them to get some approval at the cost of some influence, or some, influence at the cost of approval, or get more toxic planets to give them an approval boost, but only on sterile worlds. This stuff matters so little. They need the rewards for those quests to be considerably larger for them to be worth taking note of. Okay, so all the places that always get hacked are still getting hacked. The Vaulters, the Unfallen, and the Horatio we have met them apparently. Okay. It's weird. So I guess we know everybody. I must have come into contact with one of these guys. We must have seen a ship or something. Met one of their emissaries. Okay, well, that doesn't really affect us. Apparently I have a higher score than most of them, so take that. Don't think that affects our plans pretty much at all, actually. So these guys are going to sit here and slowly siege down Kuma. How do we want to deal with that? Like, what do I actually want to do about that? The behemoth by itself is probably not going to be enough to run off all of these butchers. Especially since these are Butcher 5s. They've had some upgrades. Their weapon systems are a little bit better. But Aquarius is pretty good at producing ships. We can just build more stuff here and get the predictive logistics down pretty quickly. And I think finishing the infrastructure is pretty important. I don't know, man. Like, if we lost Kuma, it still would not really be the end of the world. We're planning on taking the fleet to Wasat anyway, so we'll be nearby. How tough is this behemoth? 60,000 health with 7,700 attack. No manpower rating. It is not possible to take over a behemoth with boarding pods, unfortunately. It does make it a little bit awkward to fight with the fleet that we are building down here. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that we are changing course at all. For the moment, at least. The big question, I suppose, is what do we do with the behemoth? Does it just fly, like, straight to Wasat? Hey, we completed a quest. Oh! We finally got this done. Okay, that's interesting. It's given us the technology that lets us access the mercenaries and heroes part of the market. Analyzing the core, you learn the alien's homeworld, etc. We'll take the version of this that gives the bomber reward rather than the fighter reward, because there's at least some chance I might use bombers. Alright, let's at least try to assemble something. So there's Kraber ships moving around. Butcher will be back in 3 turns. I'm wondering if maybe we want to just dump all this stuff back in the hangar, actually. This is going to be 80 more industry. We'll get it done pretty quickly. Yeah, let's do that. I think it's worthwhile. Big industry boosts are usually worthwhile. How long would it take us to build another behemoth here? 21 turns. That's not good. That's not the number I wanted to see. Why is it so high? 7,500 production. I mean, yeah, that's the right number for 7,500 production. Thing is, we already have a full-sized normal fleet on the way. We probably don't need to build more commanders as badly. I guess let's get started on it. Hold on, let's have a look at the design, because I don't remember what the design for this is. It has bombers on it, right? Maybe we should change that up. Go to a more direct fire sort of thing. Because it sure wasn't very effective last time. Although, part of the problem last time was that they spent all of their time attacking small ships that don't matter, and it's getting to be less and less the case that there even are small ships in the Kraber fleets. They seem to have abandoned those designs. So maybe we could go to, like, 42 DPS. I mean, maybe we could go just to, like, bullets. I do like the bullet weapons. We have enough bullet weapons that it probably does not make sense to try to use missiles. Yeah, I think let's have all of our big ships on bullets. It simplifies our flotilla placement at least a little bit. So okay, with that design, the cost is down a little bit. Well, I guess we'll just hope that we could figure out a way to buy some of that off, or some... I don't know. I don't know what we'll do, man. It seems bad. We may as well take a turn here and build this. And then, what exactly... I do kind of wish that when you zoomed out of a system, it zoomed out in the place that the system is, rather than wherever your camera was before. Trying to think if we need defensive buildings here. We probably do. This is another 40 industry, but again, this will get better. Yeah, man, we really need to be able to inhabit desert worlds. It's causing a lot of problems for us. Alright, so what are you doing? Are you just going straight to Wasat? Would be 4-turn direct flight. I mean, we wouldn't want the behemoth to arrive by itself. We want to get there the same turn as a bunch of other combat vessels. So let's see, next turn, I guess for right now, maybe the behemoth just waits. Or it could fly to... You know, I'm going to have it fly to RFGC, because from here it can move more quickly to any place that it might need to go. This is a good staging ground. And we're not really making tremendous progress on any victory conditions, which is a shame, given that, you know, time is passing and everything. Should we try to superpower Asulo's Oh, we're losing buildings all over the place here during the siege. I should make sure we rebuild those. Should we try to make Osulo's influence output strong enough to push back on green? I just don't know that we'd be able to, frankly. We are certainly getting pushed from a lot of sides over there, and there's not enough population space that we won't get a lot of value out of temples. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know how to deal with that. I suppose we should finish dealing with this first. Try to keep an eye on what's going on down here, because there's an awful lot of ships moving around. Alright, some of these are just logistics ships. They're just shifting population all over the place. We should definitely keep destroying those. Alright, 20 bonus approval for a little while. Does that mean... Yeah, without the accelerator in place, the hacking operation does not finish before it gets traced, so I really need to be allowed to use my accelerator. Oh, we're under blackout, causing the whole node to be unresponsive. Blackout. Hold on. Is that a thing? That's not a thing that just anyone can do, I don't think. Is blackout a... Blackout might be a choir thing. What are they called? The Umbral Choir. Maybe when we became aware of this alliance, the message that made us aware was the Umbral Choir joining them. I wonder if we are near the Umbral Choir. Here's the thing. This whole civilization, they're very strange. This whole civilization is like stealthed. They don't own systems. They sort of build inside of your stuff. I wonder... I don't remember how to interact with them very well. Any chance that we could do peace? Maybe you want to be friendly? I'd be all about being friendly with you, since it seems like you're going to be difficult to fight. You cannot have 83 Hyperion. That is not acceptable. Holy crap, boy, you don't want much, do you? Alright, you know what I'm going to do? This is going to be a kind of a tedious thing here. I'm going to call the episode here, and I'm going to negotiate with the choir off-screen. And we'll see if we can't maybe make friends with this whole alliance. It might be nice to be in a position where we could call upon somebody else to put pressure on the Riftborn if they decide to get touchy with us again. Or I'll figure that out off screen. So that's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. It's been kind of a weird one. Come back next time tomorrow when presumably it will be even weirder. And we'll see you then.